Hello everyone. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Albany, Oregon. Welcome. It is a dark and gloomy Saturday here in Albany. The football games have just started. I thought I would pop in really quick and show one of the new online exclusives that will be available starting Tuesday, January 7th. And remember, this is not going to be found in any catalog since it's an online exclusive. It is called Twisted in Time, and it is a really cool set. Of course, I love all the dies. And it's got some nice sentiments. I did use it first off to make a sympathy card that I need for somebody at church. So I added a sentiment from a different set. Let me show you the card that we're going to make-ish. Can you see that tree trunk? I just think it is so cool. It is 2 different dies, and of course I use 2 different colors of paper. So this is what you're going to need to make this card. You can either grab a screenshot of this, or as always, I will have a PDF that you can access below this video in the description box. It'll also be over on my blog at Get Crafty with Sally. So the paper that I'm using is an older pack of designer series paper called Beauty of the Earth. And a lot of you will probably remember this. I don't have very much of it left. But I thought that it would easily make these trees with the die cut. So let's get started with this card. I probably have all kinds of little things to throw in as we go along. If you do end up getting this set, I just, as I was putting my dies away, I thought, oh, I'll put them on a magnetic sheet, and I took them all off and didn't even get close to getting them to fit on this sheet. So you might take a picture of what this looks like when you get it from Stampin' Up! So that you can get it back on your sheet. You can see I've got this extra little edgy die that I couldn't get to fit anywhere. Hopefully I'll get it figured out. If you like puzzles, that's a good one. So let's see. First of all, I am going to, let's glue our little tree trunk together first. I'm gonna grab my chair here, and I should have grabbed a piece of scrap paper. Let me see, I've got a paper towel here. I'm going to use my little fine tip glue because, as you can see, that is pretty teeny. I didn't try it with any of the, oh gosh, I can't think what it's called, the sticky paper that you can make a sticker out of your project. That probably would work pretty well. So let me get this glue started a little bit, and I probably will end up with my head in the screen, and for that I apologize. I am going to put like a million little drops of glue down on this, and I'll try to do it quickly. And I have to tell you, this is kind of a silly story. When I was cutting these tree dies out, or the trees with the dies, this little twisted part, I did several different colors to begin with because I wasn't sure what I was going to like with what. And of course, I wasn't sure what paper I was going to put it down on or anything. Anyway, I had just earlier in the day cooked chicken breasts for the dogs. I always do that and put it in the freezer in 2 casserole dishes. And they were sitting on the counter in my kitchen, and I craft in my kitchen on the island. And when I die cut things, I don't usually poke them out through the little holes with things. I kind of throw them down on my granite counter, and I might do that several times before the paper finally comes out. So there's all my little glue dots. So anyway, I had done several of them. I'm just going to lay this down. This one's early espresso. This one is soft suede. I had done several of them, and they were coming out of the die, bouncing across the counter. And I kept looking at those dishes full of leftover chicken grease fat and thinking, I shouldn't be doing this here, or at least I should pick those casserole dishes up and move them. But did I? No, of course not. So the next one I did, I gave it a toss, and it bounced right into one of those casserole dishes full of greasy fat. It was so gross. And it was this little intricate die, so it took me some good cleaning and scrubbing to get it all back to normal. Anyway, I thought that was funny. So, you know, that was not the easy way out. I could have just picked them up and moved them somewhere else. So anyway, there is that. I've already cut my little tree top piece, and let me grab, I don't know if you can see this in here. The tree piece has the trunk and everything, and I, as to not waste paper, you can see where I started here on the left. I just did the tree top part, not the trunk, and then laid it down to get the tree top. So, and I still am going to cut this little piece off here. If you leave it on, which you can, it makes it easier to line that up where it goes. But I'm going to cut it off. But you don't have to. Now I am going to put some glue on the back of my tree. Are you happy that the holidays are over and life can move on as normal? I am. I've got nothing planned, nothing I have to do. So I'm going to lay this down right on top of that cutout. And there is my tree piece. So the rest of it is just putting our pieces together. So I'm going to grab my card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half at 4.25. Give that a good press. Then we've got our next layer, and then I've got this layer that is 4 by 5.25, and I have embossed it with, let's see which one I used this time. I believe this is a new folder called Dashing Designs. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of cool. I did use a whole bunch of different embossing folders for these cards. I will have them all in the PDF. Here's another cool one that's new. It is called Modern Herringbone. And I'll show you that on a card in a minute. It might not be the best folder to use for this card, but I think it's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do now, putting this card together, I'm going to take my little pieces of, I've got Mossy Meadow, and then this is the Designer Series paper from Beauty of the Earth. And I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this. Put that in my little holder. And we'll lay that down on the Mossy Meadow layer. Try to get it all lined up straight and even. Then we'll put glue on the back of this piece. And I'm going to line this very vanilla piece up on my grid paper so I can try to get this kind of straight. And I'm lining it up on the bottom of the Designer Series paper piece, and it's at the first square line. I've got one square between the bottom very vanilla and the Designer Series paper. Hope that makes sense. Each little square is 1/4 of an inch, so that would be 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. I am going to put glue on this embossed piece because of all the little nooks and crannies and bumps. We'll make sure that it gets adhered really well, and I'm going to have to stand up. Do you all craft like that? Stand up, sit down, stand up. I can't line things up very straight when I'm sitting down. I think most people probably are able to craft sitting down the entire time and get things straight. So now I am going to put some tape on the back of Mossy Meadow panel. Make sure that our card base opens at the bottom. And we'll line this up. Give that a press. And now I am going to, if I can find my dimensionals, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of the top of the tree. Because the bottom of the tree is going to go on this, which is popped up a little bit. So we'll remove our dimensional covers. Add a little bit of glue to the base of the tree. And then I'm going to line this up, and it's hard to tell from the base of the tree, the roots. If you're looking at that, it's hard to tell what straight is. So you're going to kind of have to just look at the whole image and try to get that straight. The next thing we're going to do, I've already stamped a sentiment, and I've used "Thank you for the little things," which I think is super awesome. I stamped it in my, can't find it now and I can't think of what it's called, my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink that is black. I did stamp some of them in Mossy Meadow. I'll show those to you in a second. I've got some different variations of the card. So I did cut this with the rectangle stitched framelits. So we'll line that up on there. It's got a oogie little edge at the bottom. And then we'll put some glue on the back of it. And put our sentiment over here. And you could either be finished at this point, or I wanted to add something else to these, and I went and dug through all of my little embellishments and couldn't find anything that looked right. But I did end up getting some of my old Pearl Basic Jewels, and I'm going to take my dark old olive pen. I think I used dark. We'll see in a second. Stampin' Blend. And I'm just going to color around these pearls really quick with the nib end, not the brush end. If you use the brush end, you'll probably ruin it. And I will show you really quickly. These are the stamps that are in here. I can't think of what that's called, but it does. You can use one color of ink and it gives different like depths of it. So I did stamp a few of these, and I did add with a sponge dauber back on. I had the stamp in the Stamparatus, and I added some different colors back onto the stamp and stamped it again. And then I stamped this on top in, let's see, what did I use? Wild Wheat. And I don't care for either of these, but I think I'll keep playing with it. It might be fun to take like a blending brush and just on a piece of paper put just little areas of a few different colors and then cut the tree out. That might work. So I am going to add these, whoops, little pearls. That one went flying. And I did forget to cut a piece of paper for the inside of the card. I always put one in there. I don't usually do it in my videos. I usually cut them 4 by 5 1/4. So that is this card. What do you think about it? Let me show you my little stack of leftover tree pieces that I have. That is is Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. That is Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. And then there's another set of brown ones. So anyway, there is that card. There is the card that I showed at the beginning, and it is the tree trunk. The back of it is early espresso and the front is soft suede. I reversed it this time. Can you hear the dogs snoring? So there's those. Then I also did, this is the sympathy card that I made, and this paper is from the same pack. And then here is the herringbone embossing folder. A lot of it's covered up, but I think you get the idea of what it looks like. This one I used crumb cake and cinnamon cider paper. And I'm not going to put any embellishments on that one. This one, the large piece in the back is Mary Merlot. This very vanilla piece, I cut it out with the weird little die that I couldn't figure out how to put away. And that's a whole different story. I would explain to you how to do that if I could. Hopefully somebody else will come up with a really good, easy way to do that. I actually had to measure the inside piece across, and I wrote it down somewhere, but then I think I threw that piece of paper away, and then figure out how wide I wanted it and add a little bit that was going to get cut off and blah blah blah. So you can play with it and make it work. It's not that hard, but it is frustrating when it's not really easy. So this one, I popped the very vanilla panel up on dimensionals. That panel is embossed, and the panel behind it is embossed, which I don't think I've ever put 2 embossed panels on a card before. And the thank you is from the new heart-shaped set. The sympathy sentiment is from Kindness and Compassion. This one, sending comforting hugs. And then the last card I did, and this one's kind of a shocker. This is paper from that same pack. And I don't know if you can see it or not. I did cut the tree piece out of this solid-ish blue paper. So that's the round part of the tree. This part. And then there's a bunch of little dies in here. Can you see all of these little leafy looking dies? I cut a bunch of those out of, and unfortunately this is the last piece of this that I have, so hopefully you can figure it out. It's from that same pack. This is what's on the back. But I cut all of those little leafy pieces out, and I glued them onto that tree piece, and then put the trunk over the top of it. So I kind of like the blue one. And then I also put pearls on this one, and I used dark boho blue for that. So those are my cards for today. Let me know what you think about these. I think they are really fun. Are you all excited about Tuesday? Celebration. only one time a year anymore, so take advantage of it while you can. And there's some great celebration items. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I really appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you next time. Bye.